Hello and welcome to Europhoria, the podcast all about the great glam and garish from Eurovision past. My name is Roland Boddenham, and as ever, I am joined by my co-host who, if she was plastered on the side of the Remain bus, the UK would have voted to stay in the EU 100%. It's Isobel Chillman.
Political, which is what Eurovision cannot be.
Can never ever
be. But you're right. I mean, I'd sway a swing voter. That sounds sexy. Oh, I'll sway your swing vote, mate.
Swing vote. I would vote if you were just plastered just your face on the side of the bus. Specifically that picture of you in the cowboy hat.
Oh yeah, that's a great one, isn't it? Yeah, everyone would vote for that. I was looking at that earlier and had a little giggle. I do find myself funny.
Oh yeah. How are you doing, Isobel?
I'm very well, thank you so much, mate. But let's not talk about me. You're a big boy, aren't you? You had a birthday this week.
Oh, bloody hell. I completely forgot. I did, didn't I? I did. I bloody did. God blimey. It was...
Happy birthday, dear Roland. I won't sing the whole thing because it'll get boring for everyone.
Thanks, mate. I forgot about that. I really did genuinely forget.
My mum forgot you had a birthday. Your mum's been over, hasn't she?
Yeah, she did. We went and did loads of things. We saw some theatre and we went and ate loads of food, and then we went to see a movie, and that was good. It was really good, thanks. Yeah.
Oh, lovely. I'm glad you had a nice time. We missed you a lot here.
29 now. Yeah, no. It was, I missed everyone back there, but you sent me a lovely message.
And some balloons that were half deflated.
Yeah. Oh my God, some balloons on my desk which are still there. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Just put them in a drawer. How are you doing, mate? There's a storm over there.
Oh, we had some snow, didn't we?
You bloody had loads of snow. It's all I saw on my social media feeds this week was everyone in England talking about the snow.
Yeah, it's been in London, it's London, isn't it? So it never gets too bad. But it was the worst snow I've seen in London in a long time, actually. Yeah. Made good use of my snow boots, though, didn't I?
Hey, perfect.
Loved my snow boots. Yeah, the rest of the country's still having a bad one. There's people still snowed in here, there, and everywhere, and
bloody
food. Like rations. I don't know what I'm on about, but
God,
it's been quite bad. Although, in comparison to New York,
when you were over here, and it was like almost a foot of snow or whatever.
It was, It's definitely been that bad in other parts of the country further north, but not in London. It was beautiful. Some of the days were really nice. But it's not been debilitating down here. It's been fine, and now the rain's hit and it's gone.
Oh well, there you go.
It's all gone. One caveat I will say just now on this recording though is that I'm recording in my bedroom. I've got all my kit set up. The cat has decided to sit very close to the podcast equipment.
Okay.
And I don't know, she's feeling like she needs a lot of attention today. So many apologies if you
starts attacking the
hear
microphone
me swear and then everything fall over. That
if
is
you
Patsy.
cut out, we know she's like scrambled at the wires or whatever and knocked something out. Are you going to join me for a drink?
I have got I could have another. Yeah, I mean, I've got a brew at the moment. Just thought that I could get some wine. Or maybe I'll finish my brew and then I'll see how I feel.
Yeah. We can have a midway pop. I've got some wine, so we'll have a pop from me at least. I've got a lovely bottle of Tempranillo from Spain.
Lovely,
this was
lovely
courtesy
stuff
of my mum. She brought it over. Thanks, Mum.
Oh, good for her. I've been I've turned into you, and I'm fully utilising Majestic wine now. Shout out to Majestic. I bloody love that place. Now
they're very good.
Basically, I'm dating someone who's got much better taste in everything than me. So I have to up my game massively in the areas that I required to. And normally the requirement is just that I bring a bottle of wine over. So I go to Majestic every time now, and I'm like, okay, so you know that really delicious one we had last time?
Yeah.
Not that one, but similar. And it also has to be from Italy because this person is Italian.
Well, the thing is, they're really personable. So you could go in and go, I'm dating someone who has much better taste than me.
Oh, no. That is exactly what I've said to them. And they've been phenomenal every time.
They're great at that.
They've absolutely nailed it with the wine. So they've just decided and have totally managed to upsell me on loads of other stuff as well. Like I've got, I bought, I did the whole like six bottles offer the other week.
Oh wow!
But I got 2 bottles of this insanely nice Cretan white, which is delicious.
Wow.
And it was like a Romanian red wine or something that was also great. Because I'm still going for the obscure ones, even though you're not here, buddy. I'm still living it up.
Okay, well, I'm going to pop this. Are you ready?
Go.
Here we go. Way!
That was a good pop.
That was a good solid pop. And here we go. Let's go for the glug. Yeah.
Oh, solid glug too.
That is good. That was a good one. Good one, Spain, for that lovely pop and glug, courtesy of Spain. Right, so let's move on. Let's move straight into it. Let's go. Hit it hard with some
Eurovision news.
So we've got some news. Again, it's coming in thick and fast. So just go on the Eurovision Reddit page or whatever other news source you get. An interesting tweet that came in from Suri just yesterday. And I mean, it's not necessarily a huge surprise, but she tweeted, Prob's not allowed to tweet this, which means her management probably told her to tweet it. But I've just heard the final Storm mix, and it's absolutely transported me to another place. My heart exploded. My face is ugly cry wet. #feels is not enough. Cannot wait for you to hear this ASAP. So apparently it's got a revamp, it's got a remix, and Suri seems to be a big fan.
Oh, well, she's not going to say otherwise, is she? I've just heard it, guys. It's a pile of shit. Sorry,
it's got worse, yeah. Lose. Oh, dear, yeah. No, she's not. She seems very, very enthusiastic about it. But I think still, even with a big mix, it's not necessarily going to turn it from what it is into a winner, is it? But good to know that they're still working at it. Yeah,
good for them. Good for us. Good for everyone.
Good for us. As we said, we're kind of at the stage now where we're going to save a lot of stuff for a big listen party where we do an episode. Out of all the ones I've listened to, Isobel, the one that I played you from Czech Republic is still my favourite. The sort of Justin Bieber-esque boy.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that one. We're going to move straight on to some lovely little bit of any other business, AOB, as we want to call it, if we wanted to call it that. I don't. We have an email from one Aidan Houston with the subject line, "It's back!" And Aidan says, "Dear Isobel and Roland, I am so happy that Europhoria is back." We've been back for a little while now, but yeah. So happy that Europhoria is back on the air. Now I finally have some outlet for my Eurovision fanaticism. Being in North America, it's hard to find people who are into Eurovision for obvious reasons. But I have found 2 people at school who are also into Eurovision, which is great.
Oh, amazing.
I have 2 questions. The first question, I don't know if we have an answer to, but I thought it was an interesting thing that I would bring up with you, Isobel, to see your thoughts.
Okay.
The first question, I am very into fountain pens and letter writing. If I wanted to send either of you or both of you letters, do either of you have a PO box or somewhere to which I could send it?
I mean, you could send it to my work.
Oh, that's true. You could send it to your work.
Or send it to your work.
Yeah. Maybe I'll reply in an email.
Yeah, maybe we won't just like shout out loud. But I mean, not that it's hard. I mean, if people wanted to, they could definitely easily find where we work and just find out our addresses and come and kill us. But you could definitely do that. I'd love a letter. You can send, because Roland's in America, you can send one to him if you want to do it more cheaply, or if you want to very fast become my favourite agent.
Oh my God.
You can send one internationally to me, to my office. That'd be all right.
We'll reply with an email with our work addresses for Aidan to send it to. That's a good solution. That'd be very exciting.
Adorable. Love it.
If anyone else wants to send us presents or letters, then get in touch with us as well. Yeah, presents. Some of the like the big podcasts, like the big ones.
The big ones.
The big ones. Some of them have PO boxes and get and people send them stuff all the time.
Maybe
we can get to that point. Maybe we should get that and be a big podcast.
I want a I'm only in this for the presents, Roland.
Yeah, we've been doing it for a year and a half just for the presents, and so far we've got none. The second question, and it's an interesting question, it's maybe something we want to look at slightly longer, because I don't know if I have an immediate answer, but it's quite an interesting one. My second question is, what are y'all's favourite songs that have gotten null points, or which do you dislike the least? Aidan's has a suggestion, which is Norway in 1978. And specifically, he points out that the singer did not like the brass rearrangement of the song and expressed that in his own way. Shall we have a quick look at Norway 1978?
Okay. Definitely seen this before, and how did that get nil point?
I know, it's a great song. Jeez.
That's a great song. That's a real tune.
I agree with Aidan on that one, although I don't know if it's my favourite nil point. I haven't really gone through all of the nil point ones, but
no, I think I was in the back of my head was kind of saving that for a maybe to do at some point a kind of nil point, because I was thinking about it after the Ralph episode when we did his in memorandum of his songs that didn't get through. I thought, well, that'd be quite an interesting one at some point to do
the nil points,
like the best of the worst of Eurovision. There was one from Ralph's last week though. One of the what was the one with the gay dancer? What was it? Andrea. That was Andrea Demirovic.
Right. Was that
just get out of my life one? Just get out of my life. That one did terribly, but I loved that song.
Oh, I like that as well. There's some classics that just get lost in the archives. Well, thank you, Aidan, for sending us that email. And if you have any other favourite nil points, or you want to send us gifts or letters because you like fountain pens, then you can do by emailing us at europhoriapodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can contact us on Twitter. We are at EurophoriaCast, which is what the wonderful Ross did this week. Ross Barber-Smith, absolute dream babe, tweeted us a few times. Has clearly just discovered the podcast and could not contain his excitement with it. And so we got some glorious tweets from Ross this week. It was adorable. Thank you so much, Ross. That properly made my day, seeing that you're having a great time listening to us. It's always lovely.
It was amazing watching him go through the different episodes and see the different things that was happening. It was a real blast from the past.
Yeah. Patsy's back.
Naughty Pat.
She sat right by the kit. She's
okay,
staring at me.
It's glaring. You're not paying her attention.
She knows someone else is getting attention, not her.
Oh dear. So before Pat ruins everything and just walks on your computer or something, shall we get underway with our story this week?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So I'm pretty sure I haven't, but when you have a panic that we've done one before, and you're like, have we done this one before? I'm almost certain I haven't, but if we have,
even if we have, I'll just pretend we haven't.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've got nothing else, so we'll just have to do it anyway. Otherwise, it'll just be a silence for half an hour. So, Isobel, I am going to take us back, not to ages ago, but back to 2007, which was...
Yeah, we've done this one, mate. Sorry.
Fuck off. Literally, I had a little heart attack then. I'm sure there are elements that we've covered. I mean, I'm sure we've been to 2007, but... this week, we are going to be visiting Serbia. Now, it was a fairly tumultuous time for Serbia at that moment. Just 1 year before, Montenegro, of Serbia and Montenegro fame, had held a referendum to decide whether or not they would split and become an independent nation. The threshold of votes needed to confirm the referendum was a 55% vote for independence. Now, once all the votes were counted, the percentage of votes for independent was 55.4%. So just by a matter of millimetres, the Montenegrins decided that they were to become an independent nation.
Yeah, now, we know all about very tight referendums, though, don't we?
I was going to say, Isobel, if you don't know, when a nation decides to vote to become independent or to leave, say, some sort of union with another country, it can result in a fair amount of turmoil.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Anyway, Serbia had to decide what its new identity would be as an independent nation. It was basically, split between harking back to its time as a Soviet state and potentially building closer ties to Russia, or would it look to the future and move its beliefs closer in line with the European Union. It was a time for many Serbians to really ask who they wanted to be. In the days leading up to Eurovision 2007, which was to be held in Finland, it seemed that the Serbs had decided which direction they wanted their country to go, as Tomislav Nikolic, the leader of the far-right ultra-nationalist Serbian Radical Party, was nominated to be...
That's not a good party name.
That's
not... Say that one again for me, mate.
The far-right ultra-nationalist Serbian Radical Party.
No.
It's the wrong sort of radical party. Like, I love a radical party that's like surfer dudes and skaters, like radical.
Not an ultra-right nationalist one.
Ultra-nationalist one.
No.
So he was nominated to be Speaker of Parliament, and he immediately began arguing for closer and closer ties to Russia, and even the idea of eventually becoming a part of Russia once again. Amongst all this was, as every newly independent European country has to do, top of the list of priorities is to figure out who will be the first ever person to represent them at the Eurovision Song Contest.
That's top of the list.
Right? It's like, we're a new country. Who are we going to do? What are we going to send? What are we going to send? On the 8th of March that year, Serbia held the competition Eurovisia 2007, which was the first ever national selection for Serbia's entry into the contest. So the night was going great, and onto the stage walked one Marija Serifovic to perform her song Molitva. Now, the song was very good. The performance, however, is what I would describe as very typical kind of Eastern Bloc Eurovision. Fairly middle of the road, if you will. They had a sort of a couple in silhouette on the back screen dancing around, and then 4 dancers in very traditional sort of country traditional clothing, prancing about, playing traditional instruments, and one of them has a sword. Maria, meanwhile, stands in the middle of the stage and delivers a very good performance of the song. But she's wearing her hair up in a sort of quiff thing with a slightly mismatched jacket and skirt. Shall we have a quick look at that performance, Isobel?
Absolutely. I'm
quick
a big
listen.
fan. This is someone we know's favourite Eurovision song, and I can't remember who said it, and it made me laugh a lot when they said it, just because I was like, as if you know Eurovision well enough to know that this is...
It's an interesting one to have as your favourite. I guess it depends, like, early memories of Eurovision, and if it's your first time, then it kind of sticks with you. But this staging was interesting. Did you see the woman sort of dancing around with a sword in the background?
Yeah, very interesting.
I don't know what the sword represents, but it looks dangerous at the very least.
Roland, you're such a dork, worried about danger. Oh, she shouldn't be carrying that around. She could get someone die out with that.
Dancing around with a big sword. It's crazy. So anyway, the song, as you heard, is entirely in Serbian, but some of the lines translate to I walk around like crazy, falling in love scares me, days are like wounds, countless and hard to get through. So not necessarily uplifting, but definitely powerful nonetheless. And it was powerful enough to win the competition and give Maria the opportunity to perform at Eurovision 2007. Good for her, right?
Definitely good for everyone who makes it through.
Everyone. So after winning Eurovisia 2007, Maria was the subject of some pretty malicious attacks from the right-wing nationalist press in Serbia. Some targeted her Roma ethnicity. Others claimed she was too ugly to represent Serbia.
Oh.
Some tried to publicly out her as a lesbian. And on the eve of the contest, one paper even claimed that Europe would fix the contest for Maria to win as a ploy to grow positive sentiment towards the EU.
Right.
So
good.
nice
all of those things.
Yeah, nice to know that they're all gathering behind her to support her, right?
Really, really lovely stuff. Yeah.
Too ugly to represent Serbia. Like, who the fuck writes that and thinks that's okay to print? You know what Maria did though?
She went, fuck you haters, I'm going to be badass.
She absolutely did. She leant right into all of it. And when we've talked about sort of transformations before in this show and dressing up and everything, I think this has to be up there with some of the biggest. I'm going to play now, Isobel, the performance of her from the Eurovision night itself. Mm-hmm. So let's have a listen to Maria Serifovic singing in Eurovision 2007.
Honestly, like,
go Maria.
It's so good, and it's so good as well that she had these awful right-wing douchebags going, we're gonna out you as a lesbian. She was like, all right, well, you know what, I'll just become a lesbian icon then.
Yeah, exactly. So as this is an audio medium, Isobel, I think we should probably describe it for anyone who hasn't seen it or for anyone who can't sort of remember it. Maria is pretty...
Well, I think you should say in the initial one what was what she was although we mentioned there was a lady dancing with a sword at the national selection. Yeah. But there was flouncy ladies in the background with flouncy dresses, and Maria
she was wearing
had
a jacket and a skirt, kind of weird combination.
She had pearl necklacey type thing on, very ladylike dress, very powerful song, which she was doing it in it was all very ladylike, the entire
But she didn't move, and she didn't move very much in the performance at all. She was very still and sung the song like a sort of you would think of a traditional singer as people danced around her. And then I don't know sort of your impression of this performance. Like how would you describe it?
The finals one.
Yeah.
She's a gay icon now. So she's on stage, super cropped hair. She's got a black, proper, thick rimmed black glasses on. Yeah. Is wearing a very masculine suit and basically pumps like trainers.
It is a Dolce & Gabbana suit for anyone who's wondering.
Oh, what a fucking queen.
She's got an undone bow tie like Sinatra would have when he was singing, in a lounge or whatever. And those women as well backing up, they're all in suits with black ties, trouser suits. It's just, and all the women are a united front, aren't they? All the movements
everything is very powerful. It's all very meaningful. Yeah, there's lots of standing together and standing with their backs to one another and pointing at things and reaching out. And completely. Apart from basically the only thing that is vaguely glamorous, and I say that in quite a loose sense, is the backing singer's hair. Yeah. Which is insane. It's Farrah Fawcett on crack.
It really is. Yeah, I don't know how long they had to have the curling irons in for that, but that's it's quite something. But it's a really powerful performance, and her voice is really powerful anyway. And she's not standing still anymore. She's walking around, and when she belts that note, she really goes into it and is strong Maria in that. When she does that, it's amazing. Yeah. So pretty remarkable transformation. Now, Maria didn't actually publicly come out as a lesbian until 2013, but as you pointed out, many interpreted this staging as at least a stand with the overwhelmingly oppressed gay community in Serbia at the time. So Maria performed her song, and by the end of the night, the end of the scoring, she had beaten out one of our favourites, sadly, but I feel like it was fair, one of our favourites, Verka Serduchka, and won Eurovision 2007. What a powerful top two, right?
I know, that's an amazing, I've never even thought about that. Yeah, what a fucking incredible top two.
Yeah, especially as they were both from Eastern Europe and fairly what were seen as
quite
fairly
oppressed countries.
Conservative countries. This victory marked the first time since Dana International that a song with no English lyrics had won the contest, and there wasn't another song of that type right up until last year with Salvador. So it's few and far between, but she did very well.
And as she well deserved to. It was a right banger. It's not a banger, but it's you know what I mean. I remember that Eurovision. I remember watching that. I remember loving it. But phenomenal, great, fantastic performance, amazing song, absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. So actually, this victory was huge for Serbia as well, and she did receive a hero's welcome when she returned to Serbia the very next day. More than 50,000 people gathered in a central Belgrade square, and prior to her arrival, police cleared the 10-mile road from the airport to the city in order to get her there as soon as possible. We don't even do that for when we have like a new prime minister or anything.
Oh no, but mostly because our new prime ministers are wankers, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But that is amazing. 50,000 people gathered to welcome her. And when she arrived, she walked on stage and she announced to the crowd. She said, "I won for Serbia. I won for all of you. It's a new chapter for a new Serbia."
Oh, I love
beautiful, it. Beautiful, right? Oh. And even the papers who had disparaged her before now had the headlines announcing Euro Maria with a story about how great she was.
Yeah, all right, turncoats.
So, yeah. So that conspiracy about EU fixing it in her favour disappeared very quickly. Maria's sentiment for a new chapter for a new Serbia appeared to be right. It seemed as if something about her victory and the reception she received shifted both the social and political mood almost immediately. The far-right Speaker of Parliament, who I was talking about earlier, who had been basically growing louder and louder in his denouncement of the West, was actually forced to resign a mere hours after Maria touched down in the country. The EU Enlargement Commissioner at the time commented that the victory was a European vote for a European Serbia.
Amazing!
The centre and left pro-EU parties in Serbia basically formed a coalition and moved the country away from its Soviet past and towards a closer relationship with the EU. Which is amazing that and there was probably, I'm not claiming that everything came off the back of that, but a lot of the sentiment of the people in the country at the time was definitely shifted towards a more pro-EU vibe after Maria won, which is great.
Oh, good for her. See, why didn't we have someone do something like that before the referendum?
Right? Okay. If the BBC...
We needed a Maria to come and sing an amazing song and be a gay icon, and then everyone would have gone, we'd love Europe. Come on, let's stay in it.
You have all those shitty Brexiteers who claim that the BBC are biased towards Remain, and if the BBC really were biased towards Remain, they would have invested millions in a really good Eurovision song, and then we would have been fine, which right?
So your bust intro makes sense now.
Well, there we go. Yes, it kind of makes sense. It was a last minute thing, I'll be honest, but
it's a link into a referendum.
So actually, there was also, speaking of politics, there was a scramble in the Serbian parliament to claim Maria's support. The Serbian Roma Union claimed that both Maria and her mother Verica had endorsed the party during the election campaign earlier in the year. To which the Radical Party replied, "This is a shameless lie. Maria's grandfather has been a member of our party since 1995. Which everyone knows that if your grandfather's a part of a political party, you will be the same, right?
To be fair, actually, my grandparents on my mum's side were both Labour Party members.
Damn it. Well, you're very... Well, my nan was a Lib Dem.
I'm a wanky lefty liberal, aren't I?
Yeah, my nan was a Lib Dem. But we can't claim the same for everyone. Everyone's got... well, not everyone, but a lot of people have a racist nan or a racist granddad.
A lot of people do have a racist nan. My granddad would say the odd racist thing. It was... I don't want to be one of those people that goes, he didn't mean it. But he was like... He died when he was 94, and that was about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But my grandma was a Labour Party
She was a Labour voter. There you go. That's all right. So actually, all of this sort of toing and froing with the Serbian politicians, Maria basically put an end to all this when she visited Parliament and explained that she was politically neutral. She said, "I keep my hands off politics, and I expect politicians to keep their hands off my music." Back off, basically. But whether she liked it or not, Maria had a profound impact on the direction of the entire country. I'm going to quote an Australian site called The Age, and this is an article from a year after her victory, as Serbia was on the eve of hosting the contest themselves. And it reads, "The last time gay men and women took to the streets of Serbia's capital, they were beaten by nationalist gangs whilst police looked on. 7 years from their first and only Pride March, activists now see glitz, media attention, and gay tourists coming to Serbia with the Eurovision Song Contest as a big chance to come out again, louder and more confident than before."
Oh, amazing.
It's so good, right? Bloody Eurovision doing bloody good things.
I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'll say it many times over. Anyone who takes the piss out of Eurovision, people who are disparaging of it, just do not understand it. They do not understand the impact that it has in people's lives. It's not just a competition of stupid pop songs. Yes, sometimes there are lots of stupid pop songs, but it's so much more than that. It makes an impact. It makes a difference to so many people's lives. Oh.
Completely. So even more than that, 1 year after this, on the 26th of March 2009, Serbian Parliament approved a unified anti-discrimination law which prohibits, among other things, discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation and transgender status in all areas. And in June 2017, so this is just last year, the Serbian president appointed Ana Brnabic, the first openly lesbian minister in Serbia, to be prime minister.
Wow.
Just 3 months later, Prime Minister Brnabic took part in Serbia's Pride Parade, declaring, "The government is here for all citizens and will secure the respect of rights for all citizens."
Wow. Maria did that.
Maria did that.
That may not have happened for another 30 years if Maria hadn't bloody been amazing and gone and won Eurovision in a suit. In a Gucci suit.
Dolce & Gabbana.
In a Dolce & Gabbana suit.
I don't know another country that has had an openly gay prime minister.
Mate.
No, I mean,
it's not. But I don't know all the countries. I was going to say I don't know all the political. I just don't even know all the countries.
The country, but that's pretty amazing. So I know, and I'm being fairly deductive with all this because it's a nice story with a nice end or whatever. I'm not saying by any means that everything is fine for LGBT communities in Serbia. There's still a lot of kind of weird masculinity that comes from the old Soviet days or whatever, and there are still some people who are cynical about Ana Brnabic's appointment, people thought it was kind of a bit of a cynical appointment. But I think that the fact that just the story of the transformation of a direction of a country from one to another, and the transformation of not only Maria Serifovic from one song to another and of Serbia, I think that's quite the tale of a Eurovision victory.
I love it, mate. That's so good. That's such a good one.
It's good, right? It's really good. Maria. There's a lot of
babe. I loved her before, and now I love her even more. Like I didn't realize all of that. That's so great.
And she, I could have gone more into her backstory. She comes from she's got Roma sort of lineage, but she came from a really difficult place. She had a broken home basically. I think her father was an alcoholic and physically abused her mother, definitely. So there's a lot of history to her as well, which is why she's I guess why she had to be such a strong and powerful woman herself.
Maria, absolute badass. She is a Eurovision icon. And she doesn't get the same coverage and props as a lot of other people. She doesn't get the same coverage as like the sort of bigger gay icons or LGBT icons like Dana or Conchita. And even as just a pop singer, but she was pretty transformative for her home country. Amazing. Good work,
Good
mate.
for her. Good for her, right?
Good story. Love it.
Yeah, good story. I like those ones. Those ones that have a combination of political and personal. My favourite. So now we move on, Isobel, and it's time once again to delve into our quest to create a Eurovision hit. And this season we are doing it week by week or episode by episode by getting as many kind of guides and hints and tips as possible from any resources we can and testing stuff out and seeing what happens so that by the time September rolls around and we're able to produce a song for that season of Eurovision, we will have a winner, right?
Oh, this is absolutely going to be what happens.
We
are going to win Eurovision next year. I don't care for which country, but
doesn't
we're going to
matter.
win it.
It's going to happen. So last week we had a bit of music, and then even in the first week we spoke about the lyrics and we spoke about storms, and actually it's clear that whoever was writing our one, the UK's one this year, was listening to us because we have
the podcast,
song
weren't
called
they?
Storms. So last week we had some music. This week I've decided to go all in, and I've done some music and some lyrics to go in line with our approach for songs about storms. And I think probably after this week we'll have to move away from storms a little bit because it's a bit restrictive. But as we haven't done one with lyrics so far, I thought I would do something around storms. I have written a song, a small bit of a song. It's not a full song, Isobel, but it's a small bit of a song titled Lightning Strikes. Shall we have a listen to my little bit of Lightning Strikes?
Let's have a listen.
Oh, when the lights go out and the darkness fires up my desire, that's when the nights are out and the flames are getting higher and higher. Because lightning only strikes in the nighttime, and the winds are beating down on my door, and the lightning only strikes at the right time. But I hear you shouting louder for more. 'Cause storms come crashing down till I hear no sound but you. Yeah, you. Yeah, storms come crashing down till I hear no sound but you. Yeah, you.
So you said last week, Isobel, that you thought we should do something a little bit more upbeat. So I tried to make a song about lightning and storms that was a little bit more upbeat. What did you think of that? What's your impression from that, and what can we take from it going forwards?
Okay. It sounds like a Eurovision song. This is a regular occurrence for you though. It sounds like a Eurovision song, but it does not sound like a Eurovision winner currently. But that's fine. We've still got. Okay. This is the fine. We were working on this. We're going to keep workshopping this out.
Yeah, we're building it up.
Yeah, definitely. So I sorry, it's giving me the giggles. It's not as funny as I'm laughing at the amount that I'm laughing. So I just want to make that clear. It's no, I like it. I do like it. I think we've got a little bit of work on the. I think maybe we need to make it a bit more. You need to make it a bit more. The lyrics are a bit obvious.
Lightning only strikes in the nighttime. And it's not factually correct either. Lightning can strike in the daytime.
You're right. It's not. Lightning only strikes in the nighttime. I like lightning only strikes at the right time. I like that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
that's a good metaphor to use.
Yeah, there's no analysis on whether a song being factually correct has an implication on whether it's a winner or not, though.
Oh no. Oh, and who was telling me about this the other day? My buddy Ellen was telling me the other day. She went on a date with a guy who she was like, I think he's more for you, really. Like he likes pop. And he was saying that there's an episode of Switched on Pop that's all about Max Martin, the Swedish producer Max Martin, who's written a million pop songs. Yeah. And one of the things that he's talking about, what they're talking about on it, I think, is about how some of the biggest pop songs, one of the things that Max Martin did and created these huge pop songs was ones that are, I don't have any examples because I've not listened to it yet, but songs that aren't quite fully correct in English.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a second language song.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, so the lyrics are slightly weird, or the phrasing is slightly odd.
Yeah, but they don't,
Yeah.
it doesn't, so I think the example Ellen said was like, Backstreet Boys, I Want It That Way.
Yeah, okay.
So the lyrics in that, it makes sense if, as an English-speaking person, English is your first language, it makes sense listening to it. All of the lyrics make sense. You understand what they're saying. You understand, it's fine. But if you're listening to it as someone who English isn't your first language, it still makes sense as a song to you. But it's not. It doesn't matter that it's just not quite in the right order as if you were. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, we did. So we did. I can't remember. There was a song that I did in the first season that we did that was slightly like almost broken English. Maybe what I should do, maybe for the next one, do you think I should put English into Google Translate it into another language, and then translate it back to English?
Yes.
And then try and
make my god, yeah, I love that idea, definitely. Yeah, write some lyrics, translate it back, and then use those lyrics.
Okay, I feel like that. Yeah, okay, that's a really good direction for us. That is excellent. That's a really good next step for us. Excellent, awesome. That's perfect. Then we don't need to think about it anymore. We'll take that and move forward with it.
Okay, great. Okay, well that's really exciting. Okay, good. Well, we've done that then. Cool. All right. Well, I'm excited to hear what happens in 2 weeks then.
Awesome. I'm very excited too. So if you have any other feedback, please do start guiding us, start directing us, telling us what we should do, what we shouldn't do. If you have any lyrics, also give us some lyrics, any other foreign language lyrics. We hadn't thought about maybe the UK could enter a foreign language song. Is that allowed?
For that.
Who knows?
Not me and you, but I mean the country as a whole. We're too racist for that.
Yeah, that would be.
But the odd word, but something like you, because obviously you've used in previous songs, you've used foreign language phrases. Yeah. You've used things that we use in the English language all the time. If
in
we
the
used
Ooh La La song,
if we used lyrics or words or phrases that are well known in the English language anyway, you could get away with that.
Oh, yeah, for sure, definitely.
So that's why RSVP was a good one, which by the way I've listened to about 100 times over the last 2 weeks. I can't stop listening to it at the moment.
Respondez s'il vous plaît.
I love it so much. I honestly, I said it at the time on the podcast, and I will repeat it again. It is not just one of your best songs. It is one of the greatest pop songs ever made. And it should be taken by someone and made into a legit song.
Seriously, we should shop that out, try and get someone to do it.
Oh God, it's so good.
I'm proud of it.
But that's why so in that kind of same context, you used RSVP, which is that's a French term, but we know it in English. Maybe you could use some so if there's some foreign phrases that we use in English that you know of, you can remind us of those. Or if there's just an interesting phrase in your maybe in whatever country you are from, your spoken word, your spoken language that translate into English. So again, we've had this before. Ross tweeted about this the other day, and Lynn was the person that contacted us about some Norwegian phrases that when you translate them into English sound very weird. Send us some more of them. Maybe we can use them.
Yeah, because we can do some songs around that as well, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. Nice one. Well, so give us an email at europhoriapodcast@gmail.com with any recommendations for lyrics, song types, anything like that, and we will try and fit it into our quest for a Eurovision hit.
Yes, please do that. Great.
All right.
Strong work today, mate.
It was good. It was a good solid story and a little bit of a nice bit of song at the end. All right, so we will be back again in 2 weeks' time with more Eurovision stories, but in the meantime, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time at Europhoria.
Bye.